So Saquon and Jason Kelce out, and it doesn't sound like he's coming back. Take a look at just some of the moves Howie Roseman has made this offseason. There's been some shuffling of the roster after an extremely disappointing finish, an absolute collapse. But do the Eagles' new additions help erase some of the lingering doubts that are still there in Philly?
Just erase it. You guys know, the people that are watching and you're married and you know you do something, your spouse is terribly angry at you, and you go out and you get your wife some flowers, you go buy her a nice gift, and you want to say, I'm sorry. And yes, she forgives you, but never forgets. And when you talk about the Philadelphia Eagles, yes, some of those additions, does it help erase some of it? Maybe a little bit, but when you start erasing with a pencil, it's still that leftover.
Yeah, you can see it.
Still the leftover. You can see the mistakes that are there. Exactly.
You blow that little dust off. You can't cover that up.
Doesn't matter. I watch my kids do their homework and I can't understand any of it.
Same.
And for these Eagles and for Nick Sirianni, you look at last year and it's just like, all right, yes, you've made these additions, but what the hell happened last year? And how are we going to correct it and move forward? I like the additions. I'm looking at Nick Sirianni to say, you know what? All right, you brought in a new offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore. You brought in a new defensive coordinator in Vic Fangio. How are you going to run this shit now? Everybody's going to be looking at Sirianni to be the guy of pulling it all together and finding a way to get back to the promised land where they were 2 years ago playing in the Super Bowl. And I look at his personality and the way he leads this team, and we've watched him on the sideline where it's been so positive and they've been whooping up on people, and we're seeing him mean mug the camera. We've seen the positive, we've seen the negative of him going off. We've seen him last year as they continue to collapse, of them just looking for answers on the sideline. This is a guy that Jeffrey Lurie, the owner of the Eagles, has belief in. So they went into that last end of the season meeting and they did it a straightforward process. He said it was Sirianni's ability to come up with a plan of where he saw this organization and his ability to go in and bring coordinators underneath him to lead this team. I'm thinking if we're going to erase the doubts, it's going to be on the back of Nick Sirianni being able to pull this team together, especially when you lose guys like Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelce. So I think all eyes are on him to be the guy. I don't even know if it's erase marks. The doubt is still fully in there. I mean, you look at this team, yeah, you added some people, but it's not like you added people to like this depleted roster. Last year you were throwing the ball to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Swift comes over from Detroit, has a breakout season. So you had all of these people in there. You take away Jason Kelce. Yes, you put Saquon Barkley in, but that great offensive line, they took a hit losing Kelce. So to me, there's still a ton of doubt in Philly because like you just said, Kyle, what happened? We still don't know. So you fire the coordinators and you're like, you know what? Hey, outside world, it wasn't me. Sirianni, it wasn't me. It was the coordinators. I had to get rid of them. But now you bring in new. That's not always better. So I'm still sitting here saying, what went on in Philly? Is it correctable? Do we have to kind of start anew? A lot of people wanted the Philadelphia Eagles to say, hey, call up Bill Belichick, see what he's doing, see if he wants to come in and coach this super talented team. So I think there's still a lot of doubt in Philly. I think all the fans in Philadelphia want to know what happened, and they want to see this team back to winning. But the doubts will be there until maybe October and see what this team does.
I'm sorry, Dev, here I got to do a quick tangent. Bill Belichick's not coaching this year. You think he's ever head coach in the league again?
I think next year.
Really?
I think there's a lot of teams that might have thought about it and said, you know what, we're sticking with our guy. And if it doesn't work this year, they're going to call. And I think, especially because I think a lot of owners and different people think coaches gain an advantage when they take a year off, step back, probably go visit coaches other places, see how things are done. They'll add to what they're doing. Their perspectives might change a little bit. So I see Bill coaching next year.
Okay, I just want to make sure you're talking about Bill, not Steve, right? Like Bill. Bill.
Steve has a job now.
That's what I hear.
Bill doesn't. Well, Steve told us a few days ago.
Great quote. All right, Colleen, I know you got a lot of things to say on this.
That's all right.
We're all dancing around this. All right. So now, what's great about the draft is it's all fresh and moving forward and everything. But the draft ain't for several weeks. We got to talk about what happened to Philly. I think it's been a few months since, and let's just address. It's not that they ended and they lost in the wild card. That happens. What the hell was that? Let's just remind everyone. Through week 12.
Oh no.
This is the playoff game, but fine. I don't know why we're fine. The Eagles were 10-1.
Yes.
All right? They have the best record in the NFL. They have a 2-game lead as the 1 seed over the 49ers.
Everything
all right?
seemed wonderful.
It was like the dream season.
Colleen's living it again.
They have beaten the Chiefs at this point, the Dolphins, the Rams, the Cowboys, and they just had a really clutch overtime win against a very good Bills team.
Yep.
They are the squad. Tush push and all that. Like, nobody's beating the Eagles. And then it's like everything changed. Jason, I don't know if you can relate, but sometimes at work, sometimes you're just coasting along and you're doing really good work and you're like, this is excellent, and then there's this crazy wild card out of nowhere and you're you're not sure what's happening or why, but you have to adjust.
Yep.
You have to adjust. The Eagles did not adjust, okay? After that 12-1 start, 10-1, excuse me, crushed by the 49ers, crushed by the Cowboys, then they do all the coordinator changes. Then they lose to the Drew Lock Seahawks, and we're like, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. Week 16, they beat the Tommy DeVito Giants by like the skin of their teeth, and they thought they were going to lose to them. Then they lose to the Cardinals. Jason and I love the Cardinals, like our favorite team.
Love them.
The Cardinals came in with 3 wins. Then they lose to the Giants again. Then they go to the playoffs and get crushed, and we're like, hold on, the quarterback didn't get hurt. Like, what happened? Why? I have never seen, it's almost like in baseball, you hear things like down the stretch, they got a 5-game lead with 12 to play. You can't blow that. They blew it, and there's still no explanation. And I thought we'd give the Kelsey brothers a pop because they need some publicity. Let's go back for the second time in this segment to their podcast. Jason is the best. Jason McCourty, of course. Talk about Jason Kelsey. And he was talking about retirement. He's like, there is one thing that made it difficult, and this is what he had to say.
The one thing that I'm disappointed about retiring right now is I'm retiring when the Eagles had potentially the biggest collapse in the history of the organization. Not potentially, probably the most.
No.
And the reason I say that I'm upset about that is I really, truly think the Eagles are going to ball out next year. That is one thing I'm really upset about the timing of. But it is what it is. It's just, I'll have to enjoy it in a different way.
Yeah.
Guy's a national treasure, and he's had an amazing career, and he's like, God, we were so terrible at the end of last year. It was tough to go out on that. I don't know if you snap your fingers and come back. I mean, look at all those players. We know they have great players. Guys, they had great players last year. They're loaded. This was not some crappy team that was fool's gold and got a good record. They were the story, completely fell apart, and Jason, like, it has to be the coaching. You can't let that happen. And Sirianni, is he that guy?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
They bring in Kellen Moore, who, when they were interviewing for head coaches before Nick Sirianni was hired, they interviewed Kellen Moore. So I think that is a really interesting, maybe a little awkward dynamic that they have going on in Philly. But it's like, does it erase the lingering doubts? Like, how much time do you have? Do you have a couch that I can lay on?
Yeah.
Is there a script that you guys can fill for me? This was a total breakdown last year. And when anyone has a breakdown, you're walking around on eggshells. You don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know, you're living your life on edge every single day. And welcome to my reality, guys. But it's sort of like the only thing that erases lingering doubt is time and results. And like, babe, we got to work on this together. Like, I can't quit Howie Roseman after the moves that he's made. And he does this seemingly year after year. And he puts all the pieces together. But the results last year, I mean, they were cruising along. And even when they won that Christmas Day game, it was like there was all sorts of drama on the sidelines. And I was like, this is mirroring all of my family experiences on Christmas. Like, it really did feel like 'tis the season, it's the holidays, everyone is fighting, but like, it didn't, like, they still won the game. It didn't feel like that though. Like, all of the body language was off. But bringing in Saquon Barkley is, I mean, that's incredible.
No doubt.
There was money in the bank, how we spent it. That's going to immediately improve their backfield and also helps with RPOs and easy check down options for Jalen Hurts. And then the secondary, bringing back Gardner Johnson. I mean, you have, when you bring in Bryce Huff, too, that pass rush
We're at Bryce Huff.
Immediately
Colleen goes deep.
Better.
We've done the entire all-22. Anybody else? It's incredible. I like Bryce Huff.
Is really, really talented.
Bryce Huff win the 7A. I love it. Colleen gets very passionate about the Philadelphia stuff. That had to be a tough, tough stretch for you.
Yeah.